Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm so excited about today's live stream. So, welcome, everyone. Hello. I'm back from a 2-week break. I can't wait to get back into the decorating. And today we're going to make butterfly royal icing transfers. If you are first time watching the live stream, I'm Hani. I'm founder of Hanielas. On the bottom of the screen, you can see a link to my blog, where I share all the recipes and also a lot of tutorials. Before we get started, I wanted to say hello to, hi, Caitlin. You're watching from Webb City, Missouri. Hello. How is it going, everyone? Hi, Angie. Hi, Byron. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Mwah. Kisses. Thank you. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Kathy. It's really great to be back. If you are a subscriber to my cookie decorating newsletter, you probably received a newsletter on Sunday, so you've seen where I've been. And I was able to reconnect with nature, and it was just amazing. We went to Portugal for a couple of weeks, and we walked the most beautiful beaches. It was fantastic. So I'm so glad to be back, though. Hi, Karen. Oh, that's wonderful. You have all the orders. Congratulations. Yes, our trip was fantastic. Hello to Germany. Hello, Hazel. San Diego, California. Hello. So, guys, also, I updated the coffee shop, and the templates for today's tutorial are there. There's more there that I'm going to be sharing today because there's like 3 different shapes of butterflies. There are transfers. There's also individual JPEGs, so you can resize them if you need to make them bigger. And also there are a couple of stencils for you need to cut them out for you to use for your projects. Hello, Heather, Chattanooga. Hello. Hi, it's Katie, right? Like to make things? Oh no, Karen. Oh no, Karen is the town. Is that Karen is the town you live in? I'm so confused. Hi, Sandra. You are watching while you work. I hope you don't get caught. Hi, Judy. Thank you. And I also have a really exciting announcement. Some of you probably have seen already what I've been up to if you're following me on Instagram and Facebook and also YouTube. So I shared bits there, but I wanted to share it today as well. And I'm going to be sharing when, I'm not going to share it now, later on, I guess. It's probably better. Hi, Sandra. Thank you, Heather. I felt a little musical today, celebrating. Hello. Yes, it was much needed. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to focus on butterflies. And butterflies are just so beautiful, and you can use them to decorate cookies and cakes and cupcakes and all kinds of other desserts. Royal icing butterflies are fairly easy to make. I'm going to show you today 2 ways of making them. One, it's I would say, traditional, using wet on wet. And also one is going to be with the stencil, which is super fast, and you can produce tons of butterflies using a stencil. I also used the royal icing butterflies on this lovely spring birdhouse, and tutorial for that is in the Patreon group and also here. So this one, it's actually the stencil. I don't know if you can tell, but this one was stenciled in. And these are so fun and easy to make. And you can also airbrush them. Oops. Hello, Dublin. I actually used to live, that's funny because Dublin, it's in Ireland, right? But I used to live close to Dublin in Pennsylvania. So I guess there is Dublin in Ohio as well. All right, so these are just some samples that I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to bring my screen in. and we can get started. I hope I'm not too crusty. I was practicing before, so I hope it's not too crusty. Or rusty, not crusty, rusty. Oh, I am rusty. All right, so I've got my icing ready. You can see I've got my template sheet here. The template sheet you can get in the coffee shop. Let me grab the link, put it in the comment section so you guys can check it out. And also, those of you watching on YouTube, I put the list with all the tools in the description box. I'm not sure if it's coming up on Facebook because Facebook is working slightly different, but it's definitely coming up on YouTube. So you have a list of tools that I use there. Hi, Susan. And now the link for the butterfly templates, it's in the comment section. Okay, so here are this is just to show you. So their templates will look something like this. The ones that I uploaded are slightly bigger, but there are 3 different shapes of butterflies. These are quite small, so you can make them smaller or bigger depending on how you what the project is. And I included JPEGs also, so you guys can resize them to your liking. The ones I'm using here, they are slightly larger, so you can see better what I'm doing. And also, I want to say that when I'm doing royal icing butterflies, I myself personally prefer to do them on a smaller sheet, and sometimes even as individual transfers, because I just feel like I'm able to control what I'm doing better. So you can apply that to your decorating technique if you prefer that, or you can just do the whole sheet. Hello, Sherry. Judy, it has a question. Can you recommend a good company to use for purchasing an edible image? I'm doing cookies for an upcoming wedding, and I wanted to use. You wanted to use edible images. Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know if there is maybe somebody who is here. Maybe you guys can Can you chime in? If you've used someone in the past that would print images, I actually. What I had done when we lived in the United States, I would go to a local bakery, and I would ask them if they would print, obviously for a fee, if they would print images for me. The only issue was that I came across is that sometimes, because of however they had it set up, the software they were using, the images would come up maybe slightly smaller or larger, but it wasn't too big of a problem. But if you are looking for a specific, maybe a logo on your cookies, that might affect it especially if they blow it up too much. But yeah, I would just try a local bakery, or even maybe reach out to a local decorator. Well, I guess decorator probably wants the order. But yeah, I would try a local bakery or maybe a grocery store also, because they do those personalized cakes where they have to put images on them, and maybe they might say yes, they might say no. I mean, you will never know if you don't ask. So hopefully you can try that. Hi, free music. I'm wearing something musical today. So maybe sprinkle top. So this is a suggestion for the edible images. Yeah, find someone with edible printer. Yeah, I think your messages are cut off. I was going to, so you were maybe you were trying to go to the grocery store. Jamie, I have ordered mine from eBay, and they were great because I needed licensed ones. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. If you're needing a licensed ones, yeah, like Disney or something like that, that might be a problem. Icing images. Yeah, we have a lot of options here. Thank you for sharing all these with us today. All right. So, like I said, normally I do individually my butterflies, but because I want you to see the the parchment kind of hides the outline a little bit. So I'm just going to take this off, and I'm going to pipe directly on my acetate here. And I've already had my icing ready. And for the wet on wet technique, I'm using same consistency icing, and I'm going to do a classic monarch butterflies. We're going to speed up the metamorphosis, right? So we're going to just skip it to the adult stage. So I'm going to be using orange, black, yellow, and a little bit of white. And all of these are about 15 to 20-second consistency. When using wet on wet technique, you want to make sure that your icing is fluid enough so you can do wet on wet technique. Angie purchased. Hello, Sad. Edible ink. I purchased a printer and edible ink cartridges and print. Yeah, you can also do that. The only thing with that is like I believe if you're not printing frequently, let's say if you let it go for a couple months, doesn't it dry out, or doesn't it like become clogged or something like that? Let us know. Hello to India. I was going to use a picture of the couple and put it on the cookie. Thanks, everyone. So maybe try the eBay or a local bakery or something like that. I think it will work out. All right, so I'm gonna start with this one, and I'm gonna be doing 2 wings at a time. Then we have to let it crust, and then we can do the bottom. Okay, I'm doing it so I have a nice definition and separation between the wings. And then we're going to skip the body. Unless you want this to be sitting flat on a cookie, then you can do the body once your wings are crusted. So I'm going to just do them individually, and then we're going to shape them on a tray to make them angled. And that's a really fun part as well. All right, so I'm going to start with my yellow here. And again, I'm piping directly onto the acetate. Now I'm switching. Yes, you do have to print often or the print head clogs. Yeah, and it's a pain to unclog. But I really think if you go to a grocery store or the eBay, might be probably even better. They will be able to do it for you. And I remember it didn't really cost that much when I had it done, but this was years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago. So now I'm going to use my scribe tool, and I'm going to very lightly blend and also kind of see if I need to adjust the edge a little bit. And I'm just going back and forth with my scribe, blending yellow and orange together. And now at the very top here, I'm just going to use my scribe to kind of move the black and hug the orange a little bit. And now we're going to start doing the wet on wet. So I'm going to gather some black here, and I'm going to just move it across all the way here. And now like this. And then very important is to keep a towel on hand. I've got here a damp paper towel so I can keep cleaning the tip of my scribe tool. I don't want to add all of this orange here, so I want to make sure that my scribe tool is clean. Okay, and now we're going to add some dots on the black section here. So I'm starting with orange, and I'm going to switch to white. Thank you. That's so sweet. And now we're going to do 3 dots at the top. And then I'm just going to move down this end here. If you find that it's too difficult to do it with the scribe, you can also use with the piping bag. You can also use your scribe. Let's say if you want your dots to be smaller, and you can use it to pick up a little bit of icing with a scribe and then do it that way. Now we are ready to do the other side. So I'm going to get my yellow again. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the comment section. Okay, so let's do this end here, this side. I just realized something, but hopefully it's not going to matter too much. I have to remove the butterfly above the one I'm doing in order to shape it. And I have to bend the acetate. So I think I'm going to have to scrape this one off before we do that. All right, so now we're going to try to mirror everything, right? That's the whole idea. So again, coming in with my scribe very lightly. You don't want to use any kind of harsh movement. Do it slow. Better to do it slow so you don't accidentally make too many mistakes. And now with the black, very lightly, I'm just grabbing a little bit of black on the tip and just kind of hugging the orange. And now I'm gonna come in. When I do this long line, I try to gather more black like this, and then I come across almost all the way to the edge. And now bringing the black there, and we have, I can see correctly, 2 more lines. I've got light here, so I see a lot of reflection. So 1 more here, and the bottom one. And now we need to come in with, hi Kim, hello. Oh, it's so nice to see your face here. How are you, Kim? I think of you often, and it's so nice to see you. I'm really great. How are you? Hello, Linda. Thank you, Judy. So now let's focus on the dots. So you see the dots that I did previously. I put them close to that long line. So I'm gonna try to do that on this side as well. Now I need to switch to my white. Now we've got 2 white dots here, and then a longer one here, and then 3 on the bottom. Okay, so that's for the top. Oh, I need to do this. I'm gonna have to scrape it because I have to remove this one and I have to bend it. So hopefully we'll see. We're not there yet. So once this crusts, which will take maybe 20 minutes, we can start working on the bottom. These are all dry. Yes, you can always watch the replay. Yes, I forgot. Yes, you do. So if you are new to the live stream and if you are just coming in and you want to see how I did and what we did in the beginning, you can watch the replay. A replay is usually available a couple hours after the live stream ends because they have to do all the technical stuff on YouTube and Facebook. I am doing good. Yeah, I know. I remember you said that you had your meetings on Tuesdays. So yeah, I was doing it. I'm doing it on Wednesdays now. But it's so nice to see you. I'm so glad you're doing well. And thank you for commenting. Wow, this is amazing. Congrats. Well, I'm so happy for you. That's fantastic. All right. So we're going to do the bottom. And the bottom, it's pretty much the same idea where we're going to add yellow first on a section. And then I'm going to switch my piping bags. I'm using orange. Remember, butterflies come in a wide range of color combinations, so you can do them in so many different colors. I just felt monarch butterflies are probably the most, it's probably the most replicated butterfly in Sugar World, I feel like. And of course, I've got some sugar clogging happening. So I decided to do those, but you can get creative and use other colors. Let me know what colors you would use. Yes, great news. All right, so again, I'm gonna come in with my scribe tool, and at this time you can shape the icing. If you missed a little spot or if you see a gap, you can shape it and move it where you want to fix a little mistake or even do a little fill. And again, with the black, I'm just going to very lightly hug the very end of the orange. And now we can drag the black into the orange. So let's start here. I'm going to bring it all the way here. Cleaning my scribe tool. And now we're going to add the dots. Oh, you would make it blue. I love that. So now I'm going to add white along this edge here. And then let's do 2 more. And now we have to do this side here. So I'm going to, again, start with the yellow. And we're going to switch to orange. And now black. You see there is a bit of a gap here. So now I can fix it. I can move the icing in that area and fill that in. So remember we started here, so I'm going to move my scribe in this direction, and then we have 2 more to go. When you're doing this one, you really have to go slow because you don't want this upper line to get misshaped. So just take your time when you're doing that one. All right, so now we're going to, so I've got 1 dot here. Then I made like this prolongated shape here, then 3 dots, and then 2 dots on the bottom. All right, so this is for the wet on wet, very classic, right, design. You can use other colors. I'm going to set this aside for a minute because I need to bring in my stencil. I want to show you this other method that you can use. And this is with the stencil. And this is a very, very basic stencil. It's so simple. And this is mylar material because I'm going to be using royal icing. So if you are using cardstock, it's really not going to work. You can maybe use it once because then it's going to get wet and it's just going to get ruined. So this is definitely more durable. It is harder, a little harder to cut through. If you have a stencil machine, stencil making machine, you can definitely use that to make your stencil. And also there are stencils available. I believe there are some stencils with the top design as well. So if you can create the top design, then you can do layering. You can do the first layer, and then I've got one here. So let's say you do the first layer, right? And then you place your other stencil with details on the top. You could even do it with, I'm just thinking now, you could do it with any other stencil basically to create, let's say, a pattern. If you have a floral pattern, you could do that. It would be nice. I need to try that. All right, so this is my little stencil. I'm gonna place it on here. Let's say here. And I see we have some questions. Jamie, what type of coloring do you use to get that beautiful black? I have trouble getting it that deep. I use Emery Color Brand, and generally I like to, when I'm starting with the white, for like a cup of white, I use about 1 tablespoon of dark cocoa powder, and to get started, and then I add the black gel, not the liquid coloring, because that's just going to dilute your icing and you will never reach black. And then I highly recommend just coloring it until it's very dark gray and then letting it rest. Letting it rest, like when I say letting it rest, I'd say 12 hours or even longer. And usually within that time, the color has some time to kind of work, and it just gets darker. Icing gets darker. I've heard people, and I don't know if I tried it, because I used the similar method with buttercream, with Swiss buttercream, where you perhaps you can warm up. I think you can warm up a little bit of icing in the microwave and then add it, and it will do the trick as well. But has anyone tried it with royal icing? I think we had this discussion years ago, but I can't remember now. Maybe somebody has tried it, but I need to try it because I use that with Swiss buttercream and it works wonderfully. But that's for the different reasons. Not, it's just butter doesn't take well food-based food colors. My pleasure. Yes, lace. I was just thinking about that. I need to try it. Immediately, I would say. If I had the lace stencil here, I would be trying it now. All right, so for the stenciling, I would say you need to use thicker icing. It doesn't have to be super stiff, but thicker icing is highly recommended. Otherwise, your icing can kind of run under the stencil. And also you want to achieve some thickness. Okay, it doesn't have to be super thick, but if these are super like thin, then they tend to break, just like all the royal icing transfers. They are prone to breaking, so it's always good to make more than you need. Let me just get this out of the way so I can. Okay. So I've got two colors, and the reason I chose these two colors is because blue and pink makes purple. So I felt if I do a little marbling, if I spread both of them, they will kind of become, it will be kind of like purplish, bluish, pinkish. So also keep that in mind if you're doing some marbling. I've done all sorts of mixtures of colors. I just sent mine to you as I can share them here. Oh, you mean, I guess, in the email? Oh yes, yes, you can definitely use black. Oh, it's you mean it's a black royal icing that you can add just water and it's black. yeah, that you can use that as well. There are so many things on the market, but I find it's nearly impossible to have all of it. But thank you, Caitlin. I didn't really know that actually. I know there is gold icing, and I have that. That's what you use now. Excellent to know. Yeah. So if you're struggling with black, maybe try using Cookie Countess instant decorating icing. I guess it's black instant decorating icing, right? So you just add water and it's black. So you can avoid the headache making it yourself. So you put the link on Facebook. Excellent. Thank you, Kim. All right. So I've got 2 colors here ready. This is, I would say, about piping consistency that I'm gonna be using. Oops, and I've got my spatula, a little bit of icing on there. All right. You can do 1 color, you can do 2 colors. It's really up to you. I'm just gonna do these 2 colors just so we can see what's gonna happen. Or maybe I think I need to add a little more. There, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they have red and black. That doesn't make sense. Maybe they will come up with purple as well, because that's very difficult sometimes to get. I feel like purple for me, it's more difficult than black and red to get really nice purple. Why does real icing fall off? I'm not sure what you mean. So I've got icing on my spatula here. I'm just gonna spread it across. And we can, I'm not trying to do, go too thin. So I'm just gonna go over a few more times. And you see how it's becoming purple? Navy blue is evil. I became so fond of Pro Gel Sapphire blue. And when I add a little bit of black, it's magic. But I agree, navy blue is also pain. So now, before I forget to remove this, Sad, if you could please clarify what you mean. Why does it fall off? Fall off the cookie? So now we're going to, I'm holding the bottom, and I'm gonna try to lift this off. Oops, I think I moved it a little bit. Hopefully it's not too messed up. So here you've got stenciled butterfly. Okay, so you have to let that dry. You can do this directly on a cookie, obviously, but if you wanna, you can also add, and this is something I use a lot, you can add some shine to it, and you can really crank up a lot of these in no time. If you need 100 butterflies, you can do that, or you can just go for wafer butterflies if you need a lot of butterflies. But if you need a lot of royal icing butterflies, this would be probably a good way to get a lot of butterflies done. And then you could also draw details on these once these are dry with edible marker, or you can pipe on them with royal icing. I did that here. You can see, let me just find it. So here, this is the same idea, except I only did yellow. And then after it dried, before I removed it from the backing material, that's very important. Do not remove it if you're gonna airbrush it, because that air that is coming out of the airbrush gun is going to just misplace your wings. So excuse me. So I airbrushed the very middle, and it just gives it a more realistic look. And then you can also add the lines with fine edible marker. And then I finished it with black outline. So that's another thing you can do. Yeah, you struggle to not make it fake. It tastes fake. That's why I like to use cocoa powder, because it adds some nice flavor. And even if I add little too much maybe of the food coloring, it doesn't taste. It's not unpleasant taste. Are you using an oven to dry? I don't really use, I have my oven, I am very fortunate. I have an oven that goes down to 30 degrees of Celsius, and here I have 50. I can't remember what is it in Fahrenheit now. But if I need to speed it up, I will put it in for like 10 minutes max, because I find that it, like dehydrating and all that, it kind of leads to bleeding sometimes. So it really depends on the project. But generally, I just have a fan running close by, and that's been really my number one tip when it comes to drying cookies, using a fan close by. And if it's very humid, it's super, super humid, I would use a dehumidifier in a room along with the fan. I think the fan is really the key, because it just circulates the air and it promotes quicker crusting and drying, overall drying. Oh, that wasn't the person. Okay. Falling off the cookie. Lifespan of royal icing. Lifespan of royal icing, fresh royal made with meringue powder, I would say 4 weeks. And then fresh egg whites, it's slightly different, but there is a lot of sugar. So I would say 2 weeks in the fridge. It shouldn't be a problem. But that being said, if you open the bag, or if you open your container, like let's say this is the container that I use. Now I have these small containers and I find them really handy. I've got a cling wrap here so it doesn't crust on the top. If I see slight crusting along the edge when I open it, what I do, the first thing I do, I mist it with water and I let it sit for a couple of minutes, and that little mist is going to get into the sugar, into that crust, and it's going to soften it, so I don't have a lot of these bits in my icing that are hard. I prefer to store it in a fridge because I find it doesn't separate as much. And if it does separate, it looks like it's not, like even this one, it's slightly separating. I don't know if you can see, there is like a yellowish, kind of like a little off-white on the bottom. That just means that icing has started to separate. It just means that the water or the liquid, whatever you're using, water or lemon juice or combination, it's separating from the solids, from the sugar. And all you have to do is remix it. However, if you open it, and you smell like a yeasty smell or something like that, it means the fermentation has started. So I would toss it at that point, and you need to make a new batch. But usually 4 weeks for me has proven to be safe. Hello, Fabi. All right, so this one. So now we can, I'm going to take a little break because I wanted to show you, let me remove this screen, and I wanted to show you what you guys sent me. So Angie, I know you sent this a while ago, but while I was away. And so Angie sent me this lovely set that I believe you created this for your daughter, right? Daughter that is a nurse. So it's a set for nurse. I think, was there a nurse week recently? I think there was. Oh yeah, Nurse Week, National Nurse Week. When was it? I don't remember. When, I missed it. And then Sally, inspired by the last live stream. Remember, we did cookies inspired by Forget Me Not. So she created her version. I really thank you, Sally, because you also used 6 petals, and I was so afraid I'm gonna get, botany police on me that it's only 5 petals. So thank you for doing that. And also, you created these beautiful. I love these. This is cookie dough, no icing. I see some pearl, and I just love this style. Beautiful. So thank you for sending this in. And before we get moving, I also wanted to share some exciting news. So in February, I packed up my stuff, and well, I felt like I packed up the whole studio. You don't realize how much stuff you need for the decorating until you have to pack it up. and move it. So I packed up and I traveled to Madrid, where I stayed for a week, and I filmed a cookie decorating course with Domestica. And so this course, it's pretty comprehensive course. It includes I talk about all the tools that you need for cookie decorating and baking in general. I also share with you, this is the set, isn't that cool? I also share with you my signature cookie recipe and all the tips for cutout cookies, royal icing recipe, and also tips on how to find inspiration around you and how to use it for your cookie decorating project. And the course is coming out, where it's launching on May 30th, which is next week. I'm super excited. So if you don't want to miss it, guys, if you don't want to miss the launch, you can, many of you are already signed up for the newsletter, but you can sign up for the newsletter. Link is also in the description box. And I will send out an update when it's live so you guys can check it out. And here are just a few more bits. These are my filmmakers, very young boys, men. But they were wonderful. I was I felt so vulnerable in front of the camera and surrounded by all the lights, but they made it really easy, and it was so fun to be there. Thank you. Oh, okay. This is a great question, Kim, because I do have an answer for you. So, you know, with fermentation, there is a lot of gases and all that. So if the lid on your container pops open, it's usually bad, like on its own. That did happen to me, actually. But that's terrible. You still haven't recovered your smell. That is, and even your taste. I am so sorry. Because it's been a long time, right? Yes, this is an online course. Sorry, I just ran through it so quickly. This is an online course that will be available on the Domestica website. Oh, you're so sweet, Kim. But seriously, you forget the words. You forget everything. It's like you're looking and it's like, oh, what? Like, what am I doing? You know, and it's an occasional dose of imposter syndrome kicks in and all that. So, but it was wonderful, and I had a best experience. So, can't wait for it to launch and to share it with you. All right. So now that the cat is out of the bag, we're gonna return to the cookie decorating. Let me bring up my screen, and we're going to shape. First, I have to remove. Oh, I guess I'm gonna first shape the tray. So this is super easy. This is cardstock. I already have one here. So basically, you fold it in half, right? And then you fold the two sides in half as well. So you get a V-shaped tray, something like this. Okay, very easy to do. And this is where you can place your butterflies to dry. Okay, something like that. If you want to have them more spread out, if you want the wings to be more spread out, you can make it slightly wider. It also depends on the size of the butterflies you're making. If you're making small butterflies, this will be perfect. If you're making larger butterflies, you might need to make a larger tray. Oh, it's launching. It's launching. Let me just bring it up again because I think okay, so it's launching May 30th. That's the next week. It's in 8 days. You can start counting. But I will be sharing also updates on my social media, and I will be sending out a special newsletter, of course, when it launches, so you guys can check it out. Oops. All right, so I've got my tray here, and now I need to bring in back butterflies. do it this way. And remember, I told you I have to remove this one. So these wings. So this one, it's crusted, you see. So we could technically do the bottom. So I'm gonna try to remove it without removing this one. So let's see if I can do that. So this is why I prefer when I'm working with larger pieces. I prefer to do it on individual backing material. So I'm just gonna take my okay, first one. Oh, you can't see it. I took it off the screen. Okay. All right, so I've got the first one here. This is the first wing. And then we can hopefully get this one off as well. Okay, I can get under. All right, and I didn't have to remove anything. Excellent. All right, so let me set this aside. All right. So I've got these, and also we can use these as well. Or let's use these. These are nicer with the wrinkles. And I've got my little tray here. Okay. So you can just place them on. You can just place them on here because this is not parchment and this is not a material that is going to allow you to remove it without break it. So we have to set it up with a piece of parchment or wax paper. Acetate might not work. I haven't even used acetate for this step because you need to fold it. We need to create a crease. Oh no, it's not too long to wait. But imagine we filmed it in February, so I've been waiting. It was a lot of editing. Oh, you have an appointment, but it's going to be available for a long time. So it's just a launch it's on the 30th. How to tell if your icing's gone bad? I get this image in my head of an icing bag hanging out in dark corners, smoking a cigarette. Okay, I don't know what you are drinking, but Heather, it's so funny. I feel like it rarely really goes bad. I mean, if you, especially if you use meringue powder, it would have to be months and months, I think, once it starts. I had a container in the fridge for many months and I forgot about it, and then I didn't even know what it was in it, and it popped open because, like I said, it was so bad and I could smell it and everything. So it was like I was probably on my way to make alcohol at that point. All right, so here's my little tray. So like I said, we need to prepare, like we already have, if you made it on parchment, you don't need to get a new one. But if you made your transfers on acetate, you have to get something so you can pipe the body on. And I'm gonna just create a crease like this. And this is going to make it easier to shape it into a V shape, okay? I've got some small ones here, so I'm just gonna use those. Okay, let's make a crease. And now for the body. So for the body, I'm going to be using black icing, but it's not as runny. It's a bit thicker, about piping consistency. And I've got a piping bag that is fitted with number 2 piping tip here. Goodbye. Thank you, Sally. Good luck at the meeting. So I've got my butterfly here, butterfly wings here. It's not a butterfly yet, right? So we need to connect it. We are going to glue it on the body. And I'm going to pipe the body on this line here, okay? So I'm going to start with a head. Wow, where does he live? In Europe? Happy birthday to your son, but that's does he live in Europe? That's a long way from home. You must miss him. Oops. I'm holding the parchment because I find that sometimes it starts moving as I'm piping. So that's the head. I was going to say, does he live in Prague? We were in Prague for Christmas. My family, or my husband's family, they lives in Prague. How does he like Prague? Prague is wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Have you been able to visit him in Prague? That's fantastic. And he lives in Prague. The reason I scraped it over, my body wasn't thick enough. Oops. Now I bring my tray. You miss him a lot. Oh, he's doing wonderful, wonderful work there. Prague is pretty safe. I don't know if that's going to make you feel better, but we visited for 3 weeks and it's a wonderful city. And I'm just going to try and move these, the ones I did earlier. Oops, we can get them here. And then you have to let this dry for a couple hours. I would say let it dry 3-4 hours just to be sure. I've got some here. Let me back up with my camera here. You can't see very well. So this one I made flat. This one is just 2 wings connected on flat, and I can add this to my cookie now. You can drop this also on as a dry transfer on wet. When did he move to Prague? I'm just curious. And this one I did this morning. And you see it's dry. So the wings are being supported by just this small section of icing. And you can now use it. Obviously, packaging a cookie with a butterfly that is shaped like this would have to be in I would say like an acetate box or something like that, because it can break easily. Hi, June. Or you can use them to decorate a gingerbread house. And this is a smaller one. And someone suggested blue, so this one is blue. And these are the ones I did with sprinkles. And this is how easy it is to break. You can, it's pretty easy to break. So just you need to pay special attention to it. So just be mindful of that. This one was airbrushed. And I've got one more here. This one is fairly old. This one is maybe 5 years old. And I just glued it in together. Okay. The one I did now with the body. With the buttercream, I would try using a chocolate as a barrier. I would pipe chocolate on the back, let it harden, and then I would stick it onto the cake. That's what I would do. Or I would pipe the chocolate, put a toothpick, let it harden, and then you can stick it into the cake. And the toothpick, excuse me, will also support the butterfly, so you can have it where you need to have them. Obviously, you can make them from chocolate, but chocolate can be tricky to work with. If you want several colors. So that's what I would probably do. Otherwise, royal icing, it does absorb the fat. Many years ago, I made gingerbread house decorations made out of royal icing, and I put it on top of the Swiss buttercream frosted cupcake. The royal icing didn't break. However, it absorbed the fat from the buttercream, and just like with butter bleed, the butter bleed we experience sometimes in decorating, that little dark or splotchy icing that we have. So that's what just happened. It just turned darker brown. I had light brown little houses, I remember, and I came and I was like, wow, what's going on? And it was just like slowly covering and sipping through. Didn't really soften it, but I think I would use the chocolate next time. Oh, June is doing it. June is doing it. How did you do it, June? Let us know. Stay tuned. So June is posting her cake, and I think June, if I'm not mistaken, early happy birthday. I hope I didn't miss it this year. Yeah, they do break easily. It's not just like transfers. However, all the realizing transfers, and the bigger they are, these you see how big they are. So I hate to break it, but I will, just so you can see. These are easy to make, so it's okay. If you want to make them sturdier, however, there are a few things you can do to strengthen your icing, and that will be an egg white. I would add, if you need to make it stronger, you can add additional egg white, and that will really strengthen the icing, all the protein in the egg white. I would suggest using perhaps egg white that has been pasteurized. You can get white eggs in white shell that have a red stamp, and that's a P circled in red. That's an egg that has been pasteurized, and it has passed the inspection, and it's safe to eat raw. Oh, I didn't miss it. I'm so glad. Can you put transfers made out of chocolate? Can you put transfers made out of chocolate onto dry royal icing? I don't know if I try that. I tried modeling chocolate. I do that. I haven't tried chocolate. But if it's is it compound chocolate or is it real chocolate? I wonder. I would also maybe put a little barrier. Maybe I don't see why that will be a problem, unless maybe if it gets a little too warm, the fat from the chocolate could seep into the royal icing. That would be my only thing. So I would probably put a little barrier there. Maybe use a wafer paper underneath. But I would be like, if it's too warm outside, I would be slightly worried that it might melt. Yes. Yes, this one is also quite nice. This was airbrushed with pearl airbrush food coloring, metallic airbrush food coloring. Very simple. But sometimes simple is the best, and sometimes simple is also the hardest to do, right? Without too many details. All right. So it's so good to be back. Next week, what's next week? Next week it's next week it's one day, I believe it's one day before the launch. So I'm going to be reminding you. It's we're launching next week, and that's on Thursday, I believe. It's the May 30th. I can't believe we're already almost in June, which is crazy to think about because January, I feel like it just started, and we are headed for the next 6 months of this wonderful 2024. So thank you everyone for being here. I'm going a little over time. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week, our usual time, 1 p.m. Until then, have a great one. Bye.